Hi, I'm back. I want to talk about all of the books that I've read since my last video because if you don't know, I had a booktube channel that I started in, I want to say 2017, and I posted irregularly but semi-consistently from 2017 to my last video that should be still up. I have archived a lot of videos because I'm embarrassed about them, but I'm pretty sure the last one I posted, I'm not on YouTube right now, but I think it was at the end of 2022. For this video, I would like to just go over all of the books that I've read since then and give very brief reviews. They will not be in-depth whatsoever. For some of these books, I do have Goodreads reviews written for them. Not all of them, but some of them. If you want to know more about my thoughts, I have a Goodreads account where I, like I just said, post sometimes reviews and sometimes I just give a rating. So I will try to be as brief and quick as possible with these, just to catch us all up to where I currently am in my reading journey so that the future videos that I hope to post this year, moving forward, I won't have to keep going back over books that I've read that I never posted wrap-ups or reviews for. This will be that video for these books that I basically read in my absence from booktube. So let's get started. I believe that in 2022 I covered nearly all of the books that I read that year up until the very last book that I read, which I read on my Kindle. This is my Kindle. I got the cover from Etsy and it has a little M right here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I had it monogrammed with my initial. Read it on my Kindle. It was Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison, which is a holiday romance book. I liked it. I couldn't tell you a thing about it. I mean, okay, I could, but it wasn't super memorable. It was good, but it wasn't great. So I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars, I think, or maybe just a flat 3. I would read more of her books though. In fact, I don't know if you can see, I don't know how in focus these books are, but I did just recently get her newest release, First Time Caller. It's right there. So I'm gonna read more from her. Moving now though on into the books that I read over the course of the year 2023. I think I read a total of just 20 books. Oh, I'm sorry, 28 books. Okay. The first one that I read was another Kindle read. I read the book Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh, which was a book that shocked me by how much I liked it because I was kind of expecting another run-of-the-mill Love Light Farms holiday romance vibe. Forgive the title because it's quite a generic, very not original title, but Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh very much surprised me in how much I enjoyed it, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So I think it is worth your time if you're looking for a wintry, Christmassy read. Probably not anytime soon, but later on this year, if you have not gotten to Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh, that would be my recommendation. After that, I read a book called Garden City by John Mark Comer. I read 3 of his books in 2023, so they're all good. Just know I recommend them all. They're Christian nonfiction, so if you're not a believer, then you probably wouldn't like them or be interested in them, but they're all 5-star reads for me. So some of these books I have, and some of them I've loaned out to friends. So Garden City, I've loaned out. I hope I get it back because I tabbed and marked that book up. But anyway, after I read Garden City, I read How to Hear God. By the way, a lot of these are about to be Christian nonfiction books. So yeah, 5 stars, great. Look at all the tabs of this book that I made. It's a very user-friendly book when it comes to the topic of how God communicates with us as believers. So I would highly recommend it. I think it's great. I think I found out about that book through John Mark Comer, I think. After that, I read, okay, you're gonna notice a theme with these books. I'm not going to comment on the theme. I'm just gonna talk to you about the books. Love Is, I think was the next one. Yes. How Messy Stories Can Meet in the Heart of God by Jefferson and Alyssa Bethke. I don't know these people. I just picked this book up. It was cute. I thought it was going to be actually a compendium or a group of individual love stories, but it's just their love story. So it was okay. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. After that, I read my second John Mark Comer book of the year, Loveology. It's a book about God, love, marriage, sex, and the never-ending story of male and female. 5 out of 5 stars. Thought it was great and loved the visuals he gives in his books. They're so unique. After that, I picked up A Love Letter Life by Jeremy and Audrey Roloff. Again, this is another like couple memoir, how they talk about meeting, their dating life, getting married, having kids. It was okay. I preferred her chapters to his, but that's just me. I think I gave this like 3.5 out of 5 stars. After that, I picked up The Pleasure of His Company by Dutch Sheets, A Journey to Intimate Friendship with God. This would be a very good like daily devotional read. I also tabbed this one up a lot because the chapters, if you can tell, are like never longer than 5 or 6, 7 pages. They're never longer than 10 pages. So I kind of read this like that. I probably read a couple chapters at a time, to be completely honest, but you could structure it as like a daily devo. But I gave this 5 stars. I thought it was so beautifully written and just such a sweet depiction of the love of God. After that, I read You and Me Forever by Francis and Lisa Chan, Marriage and Light of Eternity. I thought this one was fabulous and definitely one that, should I ever get married, I would want to reread and revisit what's said and written in here. It's very short, and I think I read it in a day, but I would revisit it for sure. After that, I read Outdated by Jonathan Pokluda. If you have listened to any modern dating sermon, you've read this book. So that's all I'll say about that. Then I picked up my 3rd John Mark Comer book of the year. I think this is my last one, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. Fabulous, fabulous read. It was just such a good reminder to like tell yourself, hey, you can slow down, you can take it easy, you can rest. Like the Lord is giving you permission to do that. So yes, this book is very much a breath of fresh air if you feel like you're kind of just overwhelmed with life in general. I'm just tossing the books over there, so sorry if you hear like the thumping. After The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, I read Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I should have DNF'd this book. After Icebreaker, I read Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. I have read all 3 of Carly Fortune's books. I'll talk about the 3rd one later. But this was my least favorite. I didn't like this one. It was okay. She still is a great writer. It kept me reading. I didn't like it overall. But, you know, it exists. After that, I picked up Wait and See by Wendy Pope, Finding Peace in God's Pauses and Plans. It's hopeful, it's cute, it was encouraging. I can't remember much else about it. And then I read Dane Ortland's book Deeper. If you don't know from my last video, I finished off with one of my favorite books I've ever read, which is Gentle and Lowly. This is his other book, Deeper. I love this one just as much as Gentle and Lowly. If you have not picked up his books yet as a Christian, you absolutely should. It's a game changer for just how you even view Jesus and how you view the Bible. It's fabulous, fabulous work he's done with those books. After that, I read City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I should have DNF'd this book. I did not like it really much at all, and it took me forever to read. And I think I've just aged out of that series, so probably will not be continuing on, at least with City of Bones. I'm still mildly interested in the like Clockwork Prince, Princess, those ones, but if I didn't like City of Bones very much, let me know if those books are worth my time, if you have read them all. After that, here's some library books, so I'll have to put pictures of them. The Beach Trap by Allie Brady. This is kind of like an adult parent trap type of book, like inspired. This one actually was so much better than I was anticipating it being. I felt like the cover does not do this book justice. It's actually quite hard-hitting and emotional, and I would highly recommend it. I know that I'm not giving summaries of these books. I'm just hoping you might be able to go look them up if what I'm saying is making you interested in these books. So after The Beach Trap, I read 2 of the Ali Hazelwood novellas. I think there's 3 total, but they were like in a bind up. I got it from my library. I read Under One Roof and then Stuck With You. They were all right. It was just a build up to obviously when the 2 characters get to come together in that way. And I don't know, I thought they would kind of like be connected with each other and tell like an overarching story. And I mean, maybe they were, but I don't remember much about them at all. I do remember thinking though that she does write well. Like I like her writing style. I just need to read an actual novel of hers. After that, I read The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. I had a copy of this, but I cannot find it. This was good at the time of reading. I was actually on a cruise, I think, when I read this. Yes, I was. And this book is like set on a cruise, a very different kind of cruise than the one I took. I couldn't tell you a thing about it right now. I don't remember anything about it, but I remember in the moment enjoying my reading experience. The next book that I read was called X's and O's by Amy Lee, or Leah. I got this one from the library as well. Once again, I don't remember a lot about this, and all I do remember is that she's a bookstagrammer, and I was embarrassed for her by what she was sharing online. And that's about it. After that, I read Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. This is like a memoir of sorts, but it's mainly focused on just her life and her relationship to like love and romance, but also friendships, and also just like living in this world in your 20s. I thought it was relatable at times, not as relatable at other times, but overall it was very interesting and entertaining, and I really liked her style of writing. It was funny in a lot of places, but also hard-hitting in others. I would recommend if you're in your 20s, just to remind yourself, hey, what you're feeling is not new, and it's actually kind of normal. So anyway, I would recommend that one. Then I read The In-Between Place by Kat Armstrong. I actually read this with my friends. I was doing this thing called Friday Feast at the time, and so it was kind of like a meal time as well as book club. And so this is what I read. It got like really damaged because I took it out to the beach a lot in the summer of 2023. I don't know if you can tell. I really enjoyed this. It's really good if you're feeling like you're just in between phases of life. It's The In-Between Place, so you should read that. It is Christian nonfiction. After that, I finished this devotional called Grace is Enough, and it's all about helping women turn anxiety and insecurity into confidence. I remember thinking this was cute, but quite surface level. Surface level devotionals have a time and place, I would say. This next book I read, loved it so much. Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Tabbed it up. I hope you can see that. I loved this one a lot. I actually still think about this book kind of often, and I read this back in like I think September of 2023, and it's February of 2025. This was a great read. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I don't know what she put in this book, but she needs more authors need to figure out what that was that she put in that book. After that, I read House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. This was like a 12 Dancing Princess retelling, but like dark fantasy vibes. I remember liking it in the moment, but I couldn't tell you much about it now, and I do remember thinking that some of the things that happened didn't quite like make sense fully, and that there were some open ends at the end of that book. So that's all I remember feeling about it. Then I picked up Flawless by Elsie Silver. This is the first book in the Chestnut Springs Ranch series. They're adult romance books. It was cute. Fun. I can only recommend if you're okay with obviously like open door smutty scenes. Other than that, if you don't like those, don't pick those books up. After that, I read a book called P.S. It's Gonna Be Good by Heidi Lee Anderson, Christian nonfiction book geared toward women who obviously are feeling like it's not gonna be good in the future. I have this book. I have just no idea where it went. It has eluded me. It's disappeared into the ether. I did really enjoy this book. She like breaks it down by Bible characters and goes into each of their individual stories to reveal how God was able to turn their life around or do something amazing for them when they thought, I guess, it wasn't going to get amazing. So I do remember finding it encouraging overall. And then the last final book that I read in 2023 was Holly Jackson's As Good as Dead. This is the third and final book in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy. I liked this book. I thought the ending was very bold and brave and risky. I didn't love it, and if you've read the whole series, I think you'll know what I'm talking about. I definitely think it was a cool, interesting place to take the story. I just personally didn't like love it for our main character. But that's all I'll say about that. Moving now on to the 20 books that I read in 2024. I'm gonna like rapid fire these because I don't have a lot of time left on my memory card. I started the year reading Hearing God by Dallas Willard. Another book about, am I hearing God correctly? So this was great. Loved it. Tabbed it up. Dallas Willard has such a deep well of a mind. It was hard to understand a lot of the things he was writing about, but I would just reread everything like 3 and 4 times to make sure it stuck. Then I read Ruthless Vows, the second book to the Letters of Enchantment? Is that what this duology is called? Anyway, Divine Rivals was the first one. This is the second one. This should be the concluding one. I have no idea if there's a third book, if that's been announced. I've not kept up with it, to be completely honest, but this one to me was a slower start, but once it got around the midway point, it was quick. I love the way she writes. I need to read more Rebecca Ross. So far, it's just been this and Divine Rivals. I think this is such a good duology. If you like fantasy and if you like yearning and like good romance, not romance that's just straight smut, you have got to pick up this duology as soon as you can. After that, I picked up Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I started taking tennis lessons last year in March, so this was a great read to read at that time, and I'm pretty sure that's why I picked this one up, because I signed up for the lessons. This does go into tennis for sure. She's a tennis player. She's fictional. I do remember really enjoying this book. Taylor Jenkins Reid is an auto-buy author for me. I've truly not read a single book of hers and disliked it. I've read almost all of them. There's just a few backlist titles of hers that I need to read. If you haven't read Taylor Jenkins Reid yet, any book of hers, get on it, please. Then I picked up Happy Place by Emily Henry, 5 stars. Loved this one so much. Would highly recommend. I loved truly everything about it, and I also tabbed it up a lot. Then I picked up, okay, if you take one single book recommendation from this entire video, I need it to be Anne of Green Gables by Lucy Maud Montgomery. This is my perfect book. This and Little Women, I feel like were written, I feel like Louisa May Alcott and Lucy Maud Montgomery were thinking of me when they wrote those books. So Anne of Green Gables, Little Women. Please read this if you have not read this yet. I read it when I was 28 and it hit home harder than most books could ever hope to. So yes, please read this book if you haven't yet. My one, if I could only recommend one book from all these books, it would be that one. After that, I picked up Heartless by Elsie Silver. I did not like this one as much as the first one, Flawless, weirdly enough. I feel like this is a lot of people's favorite from the Chestnut Springs series. Not my favorite, but I read it. So I finished it, don't remember much about it. Wrong Place, Wrong Time was my next read by Gillian McAllister. That's a jet. This one was good in the moment. I don't know anything about it. I couldn't tell you what happens in this book, but I do remember thinking while I was reading it, wow, this is so interesting. It kept me turning the pages. It was a very good suspense, mystery, thriller-ish novel that I would recommend. Maybe don't buy it. Maybe this could be a library book, but I did enjoy my reading experience. After that, I read This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. You should totally read this after you've read Anne of Green Gables. I did not know this, but this book is set at Prince Edward Island, and Anne of Green Gables is set at Prince Edward Island, and they quote Anne of Green Gables quotes to each other in this book. And when I tell you, I was swooning. I was in love with the main male love interest. I don't remember his name. Felix. I was in love with him. So I would highly recommend this one. Even aside from the Anne of Green Gables references, this book was good. Much better than Meet Me at the Lake, but not quite as good as Every Summer After. Then I picked up Yinka, Where Is Your Husband by Lizzie Damalola Blackburn. I know I just mispronounced that. I apologize. This was good. I just kind of felt like the drama and conflict in this book was quite juvenile for them all being adults, but I did think it was good overall and entertaining enough. It was like watching reality TV, this book. After that, I entered the world of Ellen Hildebrand. It is pronounced Ellen. I, for the longest time, thought it was Elin, but she verified it's Ellen. Beautiful Day. This is like reading a Nancy Meyers movie on page. And if you get it, you get it. After that, I picked up The Bodyguard by Catherine Senner. Cute in the moment, and it's set in Texas. I am from Texas. I don't remember hardly anything about it, but I do remember in the moment thinking it was adorable and cute. After that one, I read my second Ellen Hildebrand book, The Castaways. This was so juicy and drama-filled. You follow 4 couples, 1 couple dies, and the 3 other couples deal with all the secrets of their intertwined friendships. It wasn't as salacious as I was hoping it was going to be, but overall it was a very entertaining read. Great beach read. A book that just requires absolutely no thinking on your part. Then I picked up Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This let me down. I was so looking forward to giving this book 5 stars, and it's a 3.5 star read. It was good overall. There's just a few things about her writing that I don't like, and I just don't have time to go into it, but I would recommend. It's just, it didn't blow me away. After that, I picked up Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. Not for me. Just overall, I found out it's not for me. Then I picked up Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. same thoughts as Part of Your World. It was good and it had very cute moments and the writing's great. There were just things about it that I was like, whoa, I don't know if I love that at all. Then I picked up The God of the Woods by Liz Moore from the library. Such a good book, 5 out of 5 stars. Wow. This book was truly incredible and it just felt like monumental. Like the scope of it, fabulous read. You should pick it up. Then I picked up Dear Dolly by Dolly Alderton. I didn't like this one as much as her memoir. This is like an article, question and answer collection. Yeah, I thought it was what it is. I had to put in a new SD card, so if like the angle changed at all, that's why. After Dear Dolly, I picked up Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter. This is the second book to Better Than the Movies, her kind of like young adult rom-com-y story. I thought it was good, but unnecessary. I didn't think that it was needed. And if you've read Better Than the Movies, leave it there. Just leave it there. I don't know. If you want to read it, go ahead and do it. It was cute. I just didn't feel like it was needed. I'm just finding new ways to say the same thing. After that, I finished up the 2024 reading year with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone and then Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I read the illustrated editions of these books because in December 1st and 2nd to be specific, I went to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter with my cousin Stacy. And so I was in the Harry Potter headspace, so I came back home and read the first 2 books in their illustrated editions. So now I think I've read Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone 4 or 5 times, and Chamber of the Secrets, I think that would have been my 3rd time to read it. They're as fabulous as ever. If you've not read Harry Potter, you absolutely should. I think that they're great anytime, like any age. My mom's even reading them and she's in her 50s, so they always hit because it's Harry Potter. It's like, it's timeless. Anyway, the first book that I have completed this year so far in 2025 is Be Ready When the Luck Happens by Ina Garten. I, for the longest time, thought it was pronounced Ina Garten because I've never actually like watched her show. I picked this one up because I was influenced by what I was seeing on like Book Talk and TikTok. A lot of girlies were reading this book being like, it changed my life, or it helped me romanticize my life. It was good. It was easy to read. Just a little unrelatable. It was hard to relate to her without feeling jealous. So just kidding. It was good. I think it's a fun read if you are into memoirs and just want to read about someone's life that's very different from your own. That would be a good option. So you're caught up now. Those are all the books that I've read since the last video that I posted to now. Currently, I am reading The Blue Castle by none other than L.M. Montgomery. This definitely already is not Anne of Green Gables, but I love the way she writes her characters. She infuses something into her characters that make them so incredibly endearing and likable while also being kind of pathetic, but like in a way that's so relatable. I can wax poetic. I can go on and on about Lucy Maud Montgomery's writing style. It's just so near and dear to me. And then also, this is like not really a read, but it is at the same time. I'm trying to read through the book in a year. I just said I'm trying to read through the book. I'm trying to read through the Bible in a year. So I picked up the 1-year chronological Bible. This is the NIV translation, and I'm on January 6th. But hey, I picked it up like a week ago, so we're doing pretty good. I just unfortunately don't feel like speeding it up to get to, like, what's today? The 17th, I think? I don't feel like speeding up and reading through to get to February 17th, so hopefully by February of next year I will be able to say that I read the entire Bible chronologically, because there are definitely parts of like Leviticus that I've never read before. So these are my current reads, and I'm almost done actually with The Blue Castle. I have about, I think, 50 pages left, so I'm hoping to finish this one today. Okay, so that's gonna do it for me. I have now a lot of books to clean up and put away. I would talk about the books I've DNF'd in the meantime, because there have been a few books that I have started and just never finished that I didn't talk about in this video, but why spread negativity? And if you want to know what they are, I have an abandoned shelf on my Goodreads page. You can go look up the books that I would have DNF'd between my last video and now. I do not remember how I finished my videos, so I'm going to stop talking. I hope to see you guys soon in my next video, and I hope my next video doesn't take 2 years to make. Bye!